Hey, hello everyone. So in this tutorial, I'll walk you guys through on how we can create an event-based calendar. And the good thing is we will be using a CSS grid for this. And trust me, using CSS grid will make your life ton easier. I've seen some people use table and some just use like divs, but I personally feel using a grid is much easier, as you will see. There won't be any JavaScript in this tutorial. That will be coming in maybe next tutorial, but we'll just get started with HTML, CSS, and we can even play some events. So without further ado, let's get started. So I just have a blank project here. You can see it's pretty blank. And what I'm going to do is go over into my index.html and start, sprinkling some HTML. So we're just going to create a class, and this will be our main div. So this will be our calendar container, like always. So, it's pretty standard. We just create a div with a class that will hold the entire calendar. And then what we need is a couple of things. So a calendar, if you know, just has a header, and then there's a side. The side is basically the time slots. The header has maybe days of the week. And then you have a main area where you display your events. So what we can do is we can just keep that in mind and start cracking. So I'll just call this header, and if I can type, so this will be our header, and just gonna move on and then create another container which will hold our time slots. So I'll just say class equals to time slots container. So usually what I do is when I'm designing these kind of apps, I just create a skeleton for my project, like a high level skeleton, and then I can go around and start adding things. All right, so I got my header, I got my time slots container. So the time slots is like the time, so you will see that when I put it in. And then what we need is another container. This is going to hold our events. I kind of slipped there. All right, so this is where all the events are going to go. I like a so. All right, so let's start with the header, and what we can do is create an unordered list, and we can close it off. And what you want to do is just days of the week. So I'll say Sunday. I'll just quickly type this in. All right, so I got days of the week: Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And these can usually be popular through JavaScript, but we're just going to type it in. And then the next thing that comes is your day numbers. So I mean, this is optional. Well, you know what? It's not optional. You should do it. You want to show your day numbers. So I'm just going to quickly type this in, and I want you to wait. All right, so we got that's the current week I'm in. So I'm just going to type these in. And when that is all done, as you can see, things are coming in. Don't worry about it. Yeah, it's going to look ugly. We're going to fix it. And now here comes the time slots container. So again, we just have an unordered list, and I will just call it time slots. And we will just do this, and then here just pop in your, the time. So let's say whatever is the shop or whatever place it is, they open at 9 o'clock. We're just gonna put 9 o'clock a.m. and like that. Now you can see this AM thing, AM PM thing. It's kind of coming, you know, I don't like it the way it is. So you can add this tag. It's called superscript. And what that does is exactly what it does. It just pulls it up like that. So I'm just going to quickly type this in, and yeah. All right, so we got our time slots also. So you got days and everything. Now what we want to do is take these and kind of spread them on the top. As we said, our header, and then these will go below it, and then these will come on the side. So this is where CSS come into play. And we're going to start first and start cleaning this li. So what we do is we will just say, list style none. Get rid of that garbage. Now we see there's a lot of gap. There's a lot of padding. So we were just gonna get rid of that also. So we'll just say margin. Whoa, whoa. Margin 0, padding 0. There you go. That's nice and beautiful. All right. So let's. As you can see, we have the calendar container. That's the entire container. So we want to create a grid out of it. And as I promised, we'll be using grid calendar container. All right, so first things first, we'll just say display grid. If you don't know grid and you don't use it, you should start using it because it's just that awesome. All right, so this thing is a grid now, and a grid just has nothing but rows and columns. So what I'll say is, here's a properties display template columns. So the first column is 50 pixels, and the rest will just say auto. So what that means is the first column is 50 pixels, and the rest will just automatically filled in. So I'll show you guys that later. All right, and then we have grid template rows, and we would just say, auto. So we don't want to have auto rows because that's based on these time slots. With that done, we're just going to add some gap. You can see things will shift a bit. There you go. And then here's the fun part. So there's this property called grid template areas. And if I come here, so what you do is you define these areas. You're visualizing this, and you say, how we said header, then here's your time slots, and then the main area. That's exactly what we do. We just say header, right? And then we have a time slots container, and then we have a main area. Now what this dot means is here will be a blank spot. I'll show you guys what is actually, when we visualize it, you will see it. Okay, so far no action is happening. Things are just normal. And so let's start decorating some other things. So let's start with weekdays and the day numbers. All right. So we can also, so you can have a grid within a grid. That's exactly what we're doing. And we will say grid template columns. Now here's a nice function called repeat. And how many times we want to repeat? We want to repeat 7 times, and the length is a fraction. And right away, as you can see, these things are coming along nicely in a column. Now nothing happened here to my weekdays. So let's see why that didn't happen. Maybe I didn't, yeah, there you go. I need to add a class of weekdays. And right away, there you go. So what this repeat means is I'm repeating this 7 times because there's 7 days in a week. And FR is a fraction unit. That's what we're using here. And it will adjust by itself, everything, the space remaining. You can read more about it online. Anyway, so now what we can do is we can take our weekdays and maybe just give it some color. I'll just say light blue for now. I know it's just one, but don't worry, it's going to be fixed. And whoops, not here. All right, so and the other thing is what we want to do is take our header, and we can just give it some background. Let's say gray, right? And now here's the magic. So since we said our header is here, you want to associate this with that. So you will say grid area, and you will say header. And right away you can see magic happens. All right, so things are coming nice. So as you can see, we have header, the header is coming here, and then the time slots, and then the main area. So we need to associate now these and this with something else, which we're going to do. All right, so now we will say time slots container. Okay, and what we want to do is let's give this a background of light gray. Okay, so that's the time slots. And now we're going to associate this with this time slots container. So I'll just copy and paste. I like so. There you go. And how about we just define this to the left, right? There you go. Now, so remember what I talked about this period here? That's what this represents. If I didn't have that, then things will just shift to the, they're gonna go crazy. I mean, I could do that, but then see it moves here. I don't want that. I want it to shift to the right. So that's why I add this dot, means there's an empty space. The beauty of this is it's fully responsive. So yeah, things don't die on me. Okay, so there's our time slots container. Now let's center these and all. So I'll say time slots, and we're gonna make this a flex. All right. Okay, so we need to put them in one column. So for that, we use the flex direction of column, and we're just gonna center them. Align items center. There you go. They all move nice and center. Now, as you can see, they're pretty close to each other. So we want to have a little bit of space. So what I can do is I can say time slots. Whoops, not that. The li is what I want to target, and I'll just give it a minimum height of 60 pixel. So there you go. That spreads them nice and evenly. All right. So the other thing is you might have seen calendars. We have these lines going horizontally. So I think we can do that with the pseudo element, and we can do is like this time slots. And you say after every li, right? So you don't want any content because we won't display anything. Of course, we want to have it a position of absolute. And what we want to do is left. Since we're using absolute, so we now need to tell it to where we want to position this all. And we want to span across the entire container. And let's give it a height of 1 pixel. And how about a background so we can see it like gray maybe. And there you go. And we'll just give it as an index of 1. So as you can see, we're getting these beautiful, nice lines going across, which is beautiful. I see here that this is too, I mean, for my case, this is too narrow. So we can maybe, I don't know, increase this height a bit. So I like to put things close to, the classes close to each other. So I'll just give it a minimum height of 2 em. There you go. So I think that looks really nice. Okay, so we have the calendar now kind of the way we want it, and I think it's looking pretty good. All right, so the next thing we can do is maybe come in here and start adding the slots, right? So I can just come here, and here's the event container, and within that we can start adding our slots. So just like everything else, we'll just say class, and this will have a class of slot just like any other slots, and we'll just close it like that. Now you can put anything you want in here, but for me I'm just gonna have I played with it, and I would like to have a status. So a status would be like, for example, if it is free, let's say it's a dental office or something, so you want to see if the appointment is available, if it's taken or on hold, something like that. So that's when the status comes in, and I'll show you guys how we can use that. Oh, not like that. Close it. And then the other thing is I want to add a name for the event. So I'll just say event A. Now, obviously, you can add more. You can add the event name, the start time, the end time, but that's up to you. Let's add a couple more. So I'll just say slot. You know what? I'll just leave for now, slot. All right, so you can see the slot is just sitting somewhere in the corner, and we definitely need to fix that. So I'm just going to come back into my I guess CSS, and we're just going to beautify this slot. So first thing first, we need to position it absolute. because we want to have it move around inside the event container. The other thing is I'll just give it some background, light blue maybe, I don't know. I think I've already taken that. So how about light, I don't know, dark gray, dark slate gray. That looks good. All right, and then the other thing I want is I'm just gonna give it some border radius. So I'll say 3 pixel. So you know, 5 pixels is good. And how about we just give it some Z index so that relative stays on top. I'll just give it 5. I don't know. Okay, and how about a color of white? So you can see the text, and maybe a font size of 12 pixel. Yeah, here you go. All right, so this is your slot, and as you can see, it's sitting right up there. And event container, and this is here, so this is good. I think one thing we forgot to do is define this properties for this event container. All right, so no problem. I'm gonna come here and we will just so this event container now is going to be another grid. So we have one grid, then we have this grid, now we're going to have another grid. You can have as many grids as you want, actually, there's no problem. All right, so this event container is a grid. Okay, and what we want is we want to have 7 columns just like we had before. So we will just say grid template columns, and we will just use the exact same thing. We'll say 7 columns, and they take a fraction. All right, and then we want to have rows. Okay, so we're just going to do some math, and I'll explain to you how that works. So repeat, want to have 36 rows, and we'll just give it that 1FR unit. And now I'm going to associate this with here. So remember we did up here main, this is what we're going to associate this with. So main, and whoop, you can see the event just came right in. And the other thing I want to do is a position relative. If you don't do this, you won't be able to move your events around, and I'll explain that. Now, so first let's go here and see why this is 36. Well, the reason why this is 36 is, so let's say this is 1 hour. So 1 hour has 60 minutes. Now 60 divided by 15 is 4. So because you have 15 intervals in it, so, and then since we have 9 cells or rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 4 times 9 is 36. That's how I got that number, 36. So if you don't understand it, just rewind and watch again. So 1 hour has 60 minutes, and 60 divided by 15 is 4, because you want to have 15-minute interval in every hour. So, and then 4 times 9 is 36. So if you have more, let's say your time goes from 9 to, I don't know, 8 o'clock, then that's, I don't know, whatever hours that is, then you're just going to add, take 4 multiplied by that number, and you're going to have that here. So that's how we got that number. Now we got our event, and here where things get interesting. So what I'm going to do is I'll take this slot and I'll call it slot 1, and then I will say slot 1. All right, so this event is going to have 3 things. Number 1 is how long is this event. Number 2 will be I guess on which day it occurs, and number 3 is at what time. Now, so how long is this event? Well, so that's the height. So the height, now we're assuming that 1 pixel is equal to 1 minute. So what that means is if an appointment is half hour long, which is 30 minutes, so then that's going to be 30 pixels. So if I do 30 pixel, then it's exactly at 9:30. If I say it's just 45-minute long, I'll just do 45 pixel and that's 45. If it's 1 hour, then it's like that. So it depends how you pick your units, but I chose that my events are going to be like that. They're going to be, 1 minute is equal to 1 pixel. Anyway, so I'm going to keep that here. Now, so that's the height. The other thing is then the where does the event actually start? So for that, use the very awesome grid row function, or sorry, property grid row. And let's say if I specify, let's say 2, you see how it moves? If I say 3, 4, 5, right? So how do you calculate this? Well, you actually take the you're pushing it by actually that many minutes. So currently we pushed it by 60 minutes and then it started at 10 o'clock. So how do we get that? Well, let's say your shop starts at 9 o'clock. So 9 minus, so that'll be a start hour. So your 10 minus 9 is 1. Right? I'm just going to add these comments so you guys understand what's going on. So let's say it starts at 10 o'clock. So I'll say 9 minus 10 equal to, that's 1 hour times 60 minutes. So that's equal to 60 minutes. You can use ABS function. We don't really care, 9 minus 10 or 10 minus 1. The idea is to get this number, or how many hours. We're offset from the start hours. So I have 60 minutes, and then what I do is I take 60 minutes, right, divided by our interval. So remember what I said? We have 15-minute intervals. So you do that, so you're gonna get, what do you get? 60 divided by 15, 3, 4. You get 4, and then you just add 1, so that's your thing, slot 5. And that's what we did here, 5. So let's say now I want to come at 1 o'clock. All right, so 1 would be 13. So 13 minus 9 will be 4. 4 times 6 is 240, right? So you'll be 240. 240 divided by 15. My math is not that strong, so I'm going to use a calculator. 240 divided by 15, that's 16. All right, 16 plus 1 is 17. Okay, so let's see if I do 17, does that work? Yay, there you go. So that's how you calculate that. And then the final thing is then the on which day the appointment occurs. So for that, you just use grid column, and it's pretty honestly simple. So if I say 2, it'll move there. If I say 6, it'll move there. If it's the last day of the week, it'll move to that. So, I mean, I think it's pretty awesome. If you had to do this without grid, honestly, this would have been a lot of work. So, and let's see, can we, so if you have, let's say, event that are like this span the entire width, you can do it that way, but we're not going to do it this year. Other than that, I think that'll be it. If you guys want me to make a video on how we can do this dynamically through JavaScript, then let me know. I'll show you guys what I've done. So here's another calendar that I have built. And as you can see, I can just choose, let's say, I'm going to say the 26th. So I say 26. I'm going to have an appointment from 10 o'clock to, I don't know, 11 o'clock a.m., 11:30 actually. So there you go. It adds it here from 10 to 11:30. And then let's say I want to have on the same day, I have one appointment at 10, but then this appointment is like, let's say smaller, only half hour. And if I add a watch, this is gonna come here. So as you can see, they will stack. But then let's say I have another one. This one ends at 10:45, and then this one comes here. And then I have one here. This one ends at 11 o'clock, 11:45. So I'll add like this. But then I have one that starts at 9 o'clock and then ends at I don't know 12 o'clock p.m. I can add that, and boom, it comes like this. So you get the idea. So if you guys want me to make a video on this, how we can do this dynamically through JavaScript, well, comment below, and and also subscribe, because I will have a lot of cool videos coming in. So that'll be it for now, and bye.